Hey, subscribers to my YouTube channel, Richter's Reviews. It's been a couple weeks since I did a review or any kind of video. Basically, I'm going to do a video movie review today. I don't think I've done it yet. I've talked about it probably several times. It's probably been in some other videos, like in my collection or movies that you should own or 80s films or and the like. But today's review is Swamp Thing, the 1981 the late Wes Craven masterpiece. Now, a lot of people may say masterpiece, no, not so much. But all I can say is it was the very first and um, probably the best DC Comics version of Swamp Thing. I know they did a sequel called The Return of Swamp Thing or The Return of the Swamp Thing. And then they did a TV series called Swamp Thing series that was on USA. Now they also are planning on doing a new show on Swamp Thing on the new streaming service DC Universe, a new version of Swamp Thing. So that should be interesting to see that. But basically, the Swamp Thing, the movie, came out in 1981. I originally saw the movie on my uncle's. He had this big satellite dish. I think I've mentioned this before. But he had this big satellite dish, and he had all the channels. He had to descramble, and he could descramble all the pay channels. And I think it was on like HBO or Showtime or Cinemax or something like that. And or maybe it was even the movie channel. And I watched it. I mean, it was rated PG, so it didn't really have a lot of things in it that wasn't well. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Swamp Thing was a great movie. All I can say is that the cast did really well. The late Dick Durock, who played Swamp Thing, he played on the TV series and the sequel. He was probably the best Swamp Thing, and he's been the only one who's actually played him on the screen. So, he definitely did a great performance. He's definitely sorely missed. It also stars the late David Hess. Now, David Hess, you may remember, played one of the killers in not Hills Have Eyes, but The Last House on the Left. He played Krug, and he was a crazy, psychotic person in that. But in this, he's not so bad. But he does act a little crazy. Now, also stars, other than the late Wes Craven directing it and the late Dick Durock and the late David Hess, there's also a couple other people who passed on. I make sure I say his name right. Louis Jordan. I think I say his name right. He's passed away as well. And Nicholas Worth, the one guy that's the heavyset guy that's in the movie, he's passed away as well. So there's a lot of people that's no longer with us. But they did good performance for what they had and what the script provided. And, Roger Ebert gave it some great reviews when it came out. Some other big Hollywood reporter gave it some great reviews. Other critics gave it great reviews. It just didn't make a lot of money for 1981. I guess if it had been made maybe later on in the 80s, maybe it would have made better money, more money. But Wes Craven, he was just coming off of directing. What was the movie he directed? I think it was Hills Have Eyes. He just gotten off directing that. I think he might have done a couple things in between there, but his big movie was Hills Have Eyes, and then he went into Swamp Thing, and he went on to do other directing movies, and mainly Nightmare on Elm Street would put him on the map. So, but he did great directing for the movie. Now, the one person I didn't mention in this is Ray Wise. Ray Wise actually plays Swamp Thing in his human character in the beginning of the film. His name is Dr. Alec Holland, and they are trying to discover how they can bring plant life into the swamps and a secret formula that could end world hunger and make change civilization forever. Adrienne Barbeau plays Alice Cable, and she's like in love with Alec Holland, and they have like they have a little love spat there. But the thing is, that's really cool is that Louis Jordan, he did a great performance as Dr. Arcane, and Arcane, it was like a big part of the Swamp Thing series of the comic books that he was always a continuous thorn in the side of Swamp Thing because he was always doing different things, and Swamp Thing was always trying to help, like the TV show. If you ever seen the TV show from USA, it was a really good show where he did different things and he would save people and all that good stuff. But Swamp Thing, all in all, for me, I've enjoyed the movie. I still do today. It was rated PG. Now, getting back to the PG rating, now I remember watching it, like I said, on one of those movie channels, and there was a nude scene in the movie. Adrienne Barbeau is in the water and she's cleaning herself off, and she takes off her top and you see her naked. Now, for me, being as young as I was, I think it was like 83, so I was fairly young, about 7 years old. So, I mean, it didn't really phase me too much because it's not very long. It's probably like a minute or so. But when the DVD came out, this copy of this DVD came out, they put that in. Now there was another version of that DVD that came out that they took that out, because if I remember right, they took it out for reasons being that it was rated PG. But if you go back in history and you go back and see certain other movies that were rated PG, they had some nudity or pretty violent acts in the movie that they didn't change, go around and just delete that. But anyway, for what Swamp Thing has enjoyed over the past 37 years, is a great hour and a half film to actually sit down and watch. If you have the other DVD or the Blu-ray, I don't think they even have that nude scenes, and you could have your son or daughter watch it if you don't want them watching that kind of stuff. But all in all, it's a really great film. Another performance in the movie is the young African American boy that I'm guessing he's like minding the store that's over towards where the swamp is. He did a really good performance in that. I don't think he actually went on to do anything after this, but I liked his. I think his name was Lewis in the movie. I don't remember his. I think his name is Al something. I can't remember his last name, but he did a great performance, even though he didn't say much in the film. And he does survive the film. I believe he dies, and I think he comes back. Swamp Thing saves him because he also saves Adrienne Barbeau as well. And the Ray Wise character, he did a great performance as the human version of Alec Holland. And Swamp Thing, the makeup was really good. I mean, back then in 1981, I just imagine what they're going to do with the new TV series that's going to be on DC series, the streaming service that DC Universes has. I'm just amazed. I'm just waiting in anticipation to see what happens with that. But as far as the Richter scale rating, Swamp Thing would definitely get us 8. I would give it an 8 out of 10. For the directing of Wes Craven and a lot of the performances in the movie, they did really great performances. So yeah, that's a bit. MGM is the one who I believe originally released this movie. Yeah, it looks like MGM originally released this movie in 1981, and it does. The DVD has a little booklet here. If you ever don't want to go and buy the Blu-ray or the other DVD, this is the little insert that they had. Yeah, there's a little craziness stuff going on in the movie, and there's actually Wes Craven's then wife, Mimi Craven, actually makes an appearance in the movie. She's sitting at a table with all the people that Arcane has, and the character that Nicholas Worth plays, he turns into like a little short pig, like sort of kind. But yeah, I like the movie. I've always enjoyed it. It's something that I've always went back and watched as I got older. And now they actually have the DVD copy without any cuts out of the film. It's a really great fun thing to watch. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. I would recommend it for anybody that likes DC movies, early DC movies, or early cheesy 80s films. So my name is Brad Richter, and this is Richter's Reviews, and I will check you on the next video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you can get notified when I do other videos, and I will check you on the next video.